Hi everyone. We have a website that has unfortunately lost about 90% of its usual traffic. You see, you can clearly see this significant drop on this graph right here. Now I'll show you our website. Here's our website. Basically nothing unusual. The site is quite well optimized for search engines. This is the platform. There's a search feature, there are filters, and there are some objects. Alright, and importantly, the site is multilingual. So the language is determined by the subdomain, which is right here at the front. We can perhaps go to some object. For example, this one. You see, as you can clearly see, we always have a domain that in fact clearly indicates the specific language that the page is actually loaded in. So, what happened? Around mid-October, you can see how much the traffic has dropped. To figure this out, we go to the Pages section, which is a crucial part of our analysis. And here we see that many metrics remain unchanged, but one particular metric, which is of significant interest to us, changed some time ago, indicating a shift in the data. Let's click and see what has changed on the site. The thing is, we haven't made any updates to the website since then, meaning the site's engine hasn't changed. Everything on our side has remained the same, so why did Google suddenly remove almost all of our pages from search results? It was a big mystery until I saw this graph. Do you see? Interestingly enough, as you can clearly see, if there were about 3,000 duplicate pages before mid-October, starting from mid-October, their number increased quite significantly in a very noticeable manner, and almost all of our web pages are now being correctly identified by Google as duplicates. It's good that there's a table below, which is beneficial and comprehensive, where you can see the detailed list of information about all the potentially impacted web pages. Well, let's take a closer and more detailed look at one of them, which are the technical metrics. In particular, these technical metrics are crucial for understanding the overall performance. Here we see the address of the original page. You see, with the language subdomain, in this particular instance, we are observing the specific address that has been selected by Google to serve as the canonical version. This choice is significant in terms of how it affects search engine optimization and the way content is indexed. And this address is without the language subdomain. And that's the problem. Why did Google choose this address as canonical? The thing is that this address exists, but there is no content on it. It just redirects to the language page. That is, if a person enters this address, then the person's browser settings are checked, and the person is redirected to a page with German content, English content, and so on. That is, this address, in principle, cannot be canonical because, and in fact, it should not be indexed because it is different. It makes a redirect. It depends on the user's language. How can a redirecting page be canonical? That's a mystery to me. I think the reason lies in the fact that there were some errors in Google's algorithm in the programming code of Google's system during the last update. In the search engine docs, how Google determines whether a page should be canonical. A redirect at the top strongly signals the target page should be canonical. Here are some of the various ways. The search engine giant Google determines whether a web page should be considered canonical or not. And so in the first place where we see a redirect, this is a very strong signal that the target page should be canonical. This page is redirecting to that page, so that is the target page. You see, it should be canonical according to Google's documentation. But in fact, this page, which is itself a redirect, is considered canonical. It should be canonical according to Google's documentation. And the canonical page is actually this one, which is itself a redirect. Let me explain in detail what happened. The canonical page, which is the main reference, is actually this one. Interestingly, this page is a redirect, which is not how it was originally. That's completely wrong, and it wasn't like that before. Now I'll show you. I will now demonstrate the process to you. We're going to load this page. You see the redirect happened immediately to the language subdomain. Let's do an inspection. Let's go to the Network tab, remove the language subdomain, and load the page. You see, here it is. Essentially, here we have this page loaded, and we see that the status code is redirect 302, which is responsible for the redirect. And here we see the specific address of the web page that the redirect is intended to go to. You see? So, this particular page should ideally be the canonical one. However, that's not what is happening in this case. Yes, for example, there's the sitemap. We also include the address of the canonical page, specifically the page with the language subdomain. So that's also an indicator for Google that this page should be canonical. Well, we also use this metric, but not on all pages, only on those that actually contain content that is duplicate. So if the page is original, it means it doesn't link to itself. To fix the problem, we're going to add links on the actual canonical pages so that they link to themselves. Although this wasn't a recommended method before, so it wasn't considered necessary for a page to link to itself. But I don't know how else to fix Google's behavior. I think this is the only method among those that exist that works pretty quickly, and how we can fix the situation relatively quickly. I hope Google can hopefully re-index our site in a timely manner. Although again, what does quickly mean? I think our pages will slowly start to return to search in the near future. It'll probably take about 2 months for Google to correctly identify thousands of our pages again. These unexpected problems, which can be quite challenging and difficult to predict, often arise out of nowhere, leading to a huge and significant loss of traffic. It is indeed a shame, but at the same time, it is quite interesting and intriguing to observe. It'll be interesting to fix this now. Of course, we'll request reindexing for each page to speed up the process. Well, we'll see. I'll keep you updated. Subscribe to the channel and you will see how it all ends. Alright, talk to you later.